Hi, my name is Dan Tartaglia. In this video, we're going to explore the practical use of video transitions in DaVinci Resolve Studio, but the same applies for the free version of DaVinci Resolve 2. There are a lot of transitions. Some are really cool, but for paying jobs, I typically use the same ones to keep videos flowing, tell a story, and what I find most of my clients want. My clientele typically involves residential and commercial real estate, construction projects, events. These are video clips from a recent job I did, not the whole video, just some of the transitions. But I just want to give you an idea of what this whole video is going to kind of be about. Before joining this site, I spoke to the client to see what he wanted me to focus on. And then I planned out and sketched out what I wanted to really try to accomplish. It never goes completely to plan. So I do a lot of extra drone work, to be honest. And it took about maybe maybe 3 to 4 hours to do the drone work. And then in DaVinci Resolve Studio, it may have taken another couple hours to put everything together the way I wanted it to and add music. Let's first go over a couple of keyboard shortcuts I typically use. The first one is Alt middle wheel button. So if I push Alt in and use a middle wheel button, I can zoom in and zoom out. I use that a lot. Second one is if I pick on a clip and push R, I can change my clip speed, and I can also reverse the speed of the video, reverse the video, I should say, and also ripple time. I always ripple time as well. And another one I use is Control D, which is really duration. How long should a clip be on the screen for? I also have a custom keyboard shortcut I use. So if I go, which is really this letter C. So if I hover over a clip, let's say, if I zoom in, and let's say I want to cut a clip here for some reason, I hit C, well, I just cut that clip with using the blade. I'll do Control Z to undo, but that's very helpful to have that one push button that use the blade to cut the clip. Okay, anyway, let's go back here. And if I look at my DaVinci Resolve keyboard customizations, if I look up razor, you see I assigned C as the razor. I use that a lot. It's very useful. In this first example, we're going to be using the area around the Lower.com Stadium, which is where the Columbus Crew is. Columbus Crew is the Major League Soccer team in Columbus, Ohio. Stadium is here, and their iconic smokestack is here, and it's actually the skyline of Columbus, Ohio in the background. So if I look at the first clip here, this is really, I'm using a DJI Pocket 2 in my Jeep Wrangler. And then second clip is an enhanced version of Google Maps of the park and on the location. Here's the stadium there, the smokestack is there, here, and this is the parking lot I'm driving to. What I want to do first is I want to make this clip longer so I could zoom in and start the video off right. So I want this clip to be longer than 5 seconds. If I do Control D, it is 5 seconds right now. So I'm going to move these guys over a little bit and then Control D and then make this 8 seconds. I'm going to zoom in using the Alt and middle mouse wheel. And what I want to do is I want to clip this image here 3 seconds in and then zoom in. So what I'm going to do is click the playhead here, and I'm going to drag this clip with this icon 3 seconds in. So it's right about there. About there. It's good enough, 3 seconds. If I click on the end clip here, and if I do a Control Z or undo, and then pick the clip, and then hit C for my shortcut, now I cut it about 3 seconds in. So I want this to stay zoomed out, but I want this to start zooming in. So I'm going to put my playhead here, and I'm going to pick this clip, and I'm going to turn on the zoom and the position diamonds here to lock that right there. Okay. Click the end of this clip. Unfortunately, in this software, the end of the clip doesn't really show the video in the viewer in the actual screen. So I'm going to go a little bit in from that, like there, and then I'm going to do my zooming. So let's zoom in to where I want to be. It might take a couple seconds for me to position this guy. If I run this right now, it'll zoom into it. So that's what I wanted to do, is just have that go there and then start to zoom in. The first transition I'm going to place is going to be right here. And what I want to do is snap to that corner here, and I'm going to use a well, I'm going to look at probably use slide up here for this one. So if you put your cursor where it has to be, and you go over to one of these transitions, if you just move your cursor over it, you'll see what it's going to do. So slide up is going to do that. Slide down is going to do that. I kind of like slide down better, even though it doesn't quite make sense. You think you go up more than down. But either way, I'll do a slide down here. I'll just drag and drop it there. And if I wanted to, I could just see it real quick as I just drag this guy like that. That's the first transition I'm going to place. So it's great you can preview when you actually hover over a transition what it's going to do wherever your playhead is at. Okay, so once I get to here, there's no reason to have any kind of transition there. And let's pull this one over. I'm going to turn on my snap real quick. And then this one here, we're going to do we're just going to do cross dissolve here. So again, if I go to, say I snap here and I go like this, just move my cursor over and drag this, you'll just see it does that. Just gonna mesh one into the other. So I'm gonna drag this guy here. So I just want to have it go like that. And next we're going to go to the next clip. I'm going to drag this one here, and this one here, it's gonna kind of do something different. So for this one here, I'm just gonna do a dip to color, and it's gonna do similar to a cross dissolve, except that it's gonna go to black. So if I run it, it's gonna go to black, because there's really no reason to have a different type of transition. In this, it's kind of a different location. So then we'll go to the next clip here. And this one here is going to go to an image that I love this image because it shows the bridge really nicely. And we're going down here. We're spinning right near the bridge. I like this clip here because it's a good shot of the bridge here and of the smokestack when you're coming down for a landing. At this point, I'm going to do I'm looking down already. I'm going to look up. So let's go down to, let's try some of these here. Let's slide down first. Let's see. Slide down, we'll do this. And slide up, we'll do this. See, this one goes this direction, which I don't necessarily like. I like, even though it doesn't, probably should use slide up, but in this case, slide down makes more sense to me if I look at this. So I'm just going to drag this guy over here. It goes up like that. Next clip is going to go to the front of that bridge. So I could do either just do a dissolve, or I could do something else. I could do a slide left or right. So let's see. So here is a slide left. Here is a slide See, it's going in the wrong direction to slide right. So it's still getting counterintuitive to me, but if I'm going to do it, I'll probably do a slide left to here. So it's going like that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here, Alt middle wheel button, just to get some of the clips in my screen here. And I'm going to drag this guy over here. And the next clip is going to go from the bridge and just go another image. So I might just do either a cross dissolve or a cross dip to color dissolve. Either way is fine. I'll just do a cross dissolve here. So we're going from here to there. Now the next clip is actually the smokestack. I'm actually going down into the smokestack. So from here, I want to flip down to where that is. So let's do this. Let's click on here and let's go back down here. And I believe, let me see what down looks like real quick here. Slide down. And there's a slide up. Slide doesn't make sense to me because we're going up. Let me see, slide down. Let's try slide down. Okay. And the next clip is going to really spin around or just go down the tower. Sorry. Let us slide down and see how that one looks. So that's sliding down there and that's sliding down there. So it's going like this right now. Okay, so let's go to the next clip. Next clip is really spinning around the tower, and you see the skyline of the Columbus, Ohio background. So I'll probably just do a cross dissolve. Next clip is really completely different. So I'm going to do a dip to color so that I know it's a transition that's going to a different kind of location. And really it's spinning up this municipal building that's been converted into office space, which is really cool. It's an old building. And you can see the rooftops pretty cool. And also a lot of new construction over there too. And it goes into a picture that is in the front of the stadium that they're doing a lot of construction right now for. So for this one here, we're going to do, we need a transition that's going to help me go from the one to the other. Let me see, so I use slide a lot, as you can tell. So if I do this slide here, I could do a slide left, and that seems to work pretty well here. Spin might work as well. I don't like using spin too often, to be honest, just because of its the way it looks. For the heck of it, let's use spin for this one. So if I go here, and we're spinning around. Sorry, the video card is not behaving sometimes when you have these transitions. So it goes like that, and then it spins around to that. So I would use one of those two. And then the last clip I have here is really just going from here back. So I'm going to use just the cross dissolve again. Again, that seems to be a go-to clip, as you can tell. And for this, that's pretty much it for this particular video. In this example, we're going to fly in an office space with a smaller drone, which is a DJI Mini 3 Pro. So if I start to play ahead here, you'll see it fly into the lobby and go into the hallway next. Now, I'm going to place another transition right here. I'll place a cross dissolve because there's really nothing I could possibly turn if I really wanted to, but it wouldn't make any sense really from this case. It's all about what you have and what you can do with it. So, but notice I can't place this clip. I can't place this transition, I should say, because it won't let me. Well, I can do it here, but I can't do it here. So to resolve that, if I pick both of these clips here, and then I right click on the transition, and I go to add to selected and edit points and clips, I have three options here. I'm going to click on trim clips. So that way I trim the clips so I could place that transition. I'll delete that one and I'll delete this one here. But I wanted this to be like that. At this point, it's going to fly to the end of this hallway. And then it's going to, let me go a little further, sorry, a little further in, and it's going to turn left, or turn right, I should say. So I need to be able to make this turn at the right time. Wait till about maybe there, and then I could either use C on my keyboard for my custom keyboard shortcut, and then pick this clip and hit the delete key, ripple this one close to it again. So now I look more like that. And then I'll place another transition here. And again, I use slide a lot, as you can tell. There's also a pan, which I tried to use a few times, but I don't like it as much. It does something somewhat similar, but it has a lot more going on as far as effects go. And then it just seems like a cleaner, the slides seem a little bit cleaner, let's put it that way. So if I look at this one here, this one's going in the wrong direction initially, so I'm going to go here, okay. Again, if you hover over a transition, you just move your cursor, it'll show you what it's going to do. So if I grab this guy here, I'll put this there, and we'll just run this guy, and it's going to go like that. Next, I have another clip back here that is really a piece of equipment that's along this corridor. It's right inside this room right here. So what I want to do is I want to turn to see that piece of equipment. So I'm going to go and try to find a good spot to turn. So let's say maybe right there. By the way, I'm playing and stopping the actual moving of the timeline with my space bar. So I'll just maybe right there for the heck of it. And I'll do I'll click on C to cut the clip. I'm going to move this piece here this time over here. And I'm going to move this clip next to here. So it's going like that. But notice it's going in the wrong direction. This clip here. And I wanted to go in the other direction because I wanted to keep the flow of that particular direction, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that clip and do click the R button, which is a shortcut for speed. I already have it going at 75%, but I want to reverse this clip. So that's going in the opposite direction. So I'm going to click on reverse speed and then change. So now if I run it, it's going in the right direction. Hope that makes sense. And it's going in the right direction. And now I need to place a transition here. So let me see how if left makes sense or right makes sense. In this case, the left seems to make sense there. Let me see, right goes the opposite direction initially. So I'm going to go left again. And then run this guy. And then it's going to just go right to it. And then I have this piece right here. I'm just going to snap there. And since I turn this left, this will be turned right. So I'm going to snap this clip here, this in between those two clips, and go to slide right. So let's run this again. And it goes down the corridor. I could make this a little bit longer, I guess, if I wanted to. Yeah, so that's what it's doing. That's really this whole example is that. So let's do it one more time. turn off the snap. So it's going that way, it's going back, and it's going down the hallway. In the actual video, I also go into this room, and all the videos for these clips, the real full-length videos, will be in the description. In this example, this is a small park in Dublin, Ohio called Indian Run Falls that has 2 waterfalls and some decent walking trails. It's in the middle of a very dense area, so it's kind of hidden little gem. The first clip I have is another Google Maps, and I used Topaz Gigapixel to make it more crisp. And I want to do the same thing. I want to zoom in as I did earlier. So let's go a little further over here, and I'll use my Alt middle mouse bar to zoom in a little bit. And if I do a Control D on it, it's 5 seconds long. I want it to be 8 seconds. So let's drag this guy here to be 8 seconds long. And as I did before, I want to accurately snap 3 seconds in, which the only way I know how to do that, and there might be other ways, is to snap to the end point here. And with this icon, drag this in 3 seconds. And snap to this endpoint, and then to edit, undo, or Control Z. And then I'm going to use the custom shortcut I created for the C button for the blade, and just push C. And now I have a 3 second and a 5 second clip. So I want to have this 5 second clip do the zooming. So I'm going to snap here to the first, and then I'm going to click on the diamonds here, so to start that zoom there. And then I'm going to snap to the end of this clip. And unfortunately, again, it always shows the next clip. So I'm going to have to go in a little bit to be able to zoom into this clip and see what I'm doing. So we'll stay there, and then I'll turn on the diamonds for this guy. And I want to zoom into this parking lot. Where's it at? I want to zoom into this parking lot right here. Use my Alt middle mouse button. I'll zoom in a little bit again to where I was, and the zoom's going to stop here. So what I want to do is I want to pull this clip back a little bit because I want this to be beyond where I'm zooming, so that it's a smooth zoom into this clip, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do that and click on the snap here and go like that. So if I zoom out, if I use my Alt button and my middle mouse button, I'll go out a little bit. And let's snap this there, and we'll run this so that it goes smoothly into the other clip without stopping. And then in this clip here, I'm just going to use a cross dissolve so that it has a smooth transition. Notice how bad that transition is, though, unfortunately. It kind of has a little weird little look to it, and I don't like it, so we got to change that. So we'll delete that guy, and to make it look better, I believe I could just put that here completely in this clip. So if I do the same thing, hit play, much better that way. So it just smoothly goes into that clip. Next is going to go into this clip. Sometimes cross dissolve doesn't do anything in some of these clips, and I'm not sure why that is. And I know that it's not going to do anything for this clip here. It's just going to look like nothing's happened as far as the transition goes. So I'm going to use a dip here to color instead. I know that's going to at least show something, show a transition. Okay, and stop that for a second, and let's go over a little bit further. Now, the next clip is going to be my space bar to start my video. It's going to orbit the parking lot and then go and fly above. So I'm going to look down. So I'm going to snap to here and go down to my trusty slide ones here and hover over and see what it looks like. So let's look it up first. So up, kind of does what I wanted to do, while down goes kind of the opposite way. So we're going to go up. We'll do a slide up here. So let's do a play, slides up, and then it's going to go over this and it's going to go look back down again. So I would slide down, makes sense to put here. So let's try that real quick. Actually, no. You would think it would be, but no. So I'm going to get rid of that one and put slide up there instead. And let's try that one real quick. So that's what I would want. Now, little trick here is at the end of this next clip, I did a screen capture. So if you look at this, if I run this right now, there's a little waterfall there, and I have a screen capture right there. They added a new ability in DaVinci Resolve where you don't have to go to the color wheel anymore, color page, do a screen capture. You can actually go to File, Export, and then current frame as still. That's a fairly new feature they added to the actual edit window, which is nice. You don't have to switch into the color window and then right click and create a still. You can just go right here and go to export. So they added that fairly recently. Anyway, I want to do a zoom here. So right now, if I go here, I want to zoom until I get down to this waterfall here and where I'm going down. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do a zoom. So from here, I'm going to turn on the diamonds. And again, I'm going to have to go a little in because unfortunately it's just the way it is. And I'm going to turn on the diamonds here and then do my zooming. But I'm going to make sure I have this to the edge. And see how that looks real quick. So let's see. So if we go here, we're zooming in, and then it's going to go into the waterfall. I could probably make the waterfall a little shorter in length if I wanted to, because it is kind of high compared to when I'm zooming. But you know, that's preference. Let's see. So I could probably, how long is this clip? It's almost 8 seconds long anyway, so I could probably just grab this guy here, and you can still, as you're dragging it, you can see it. Maybe I'll pull it to about there instead. And I'll just snap this guy here and run it again. And I'll just use a cross dissolve. I believe I can use right here. It'll work. I might have to do the same thing where the whole cross dissolves in one video. When you have two videos together, sometimes it makes it look better. So if I do that, as you can see, it transitions much better. If I had this back in the center of two videos, it might look weird. It will look weird. So that's good right there. Next clip is a slow motion of the waterfall. And what I want to do is I want to zoom in. I like zooming in, I'm sorry. So let's go into the snap on here and let's go 3 seconds in. I am not zoomed in that close to this clip, so I might not be able to get 3 seconds exactly, but it might be good enough. Oh, go. Snap it to it, and then do a Control Z or undo, and then do a C to clip it, or use your blade. So this guy here is just going to go normal, and I'm going to with this to zoom. You don't have to clip it to zoom, but I like to do it that way so I know where to zoom starting without having to think about it. So we'll start to zoom there. I'm going to turn on the two diamonds, and I'm going to do an alt wheel, middle wheel to zoom in here, and I'm going to go a little bit further in like I did before. This particular clip actually ends further in. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's pull this back to here. Okay, and let's just go here and turn on the diamonds. And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit to the waterfall. Okay, let's see how that looks real quick. And again, notice that there's going to be a little space here where there's no zoom happening. So I'm going to pull that back a little bit. So let's pull this back just before I zoomed. And let's turn on the snap here, and we'll drag this guy over and see how that looks real quick. So it goes into there. Okay. Let me zoom out. Okay, so that does that. I'll probably just use another cross dissolve there. And let's zoom out a little bit here so we see what's going on. So right now we have, if I click over here and then play it, it goes into there for 3 seconds, then it zooms in, and then it goes into going down. And then my last clip I have here, I believe that's the last clip. Let me make sure about that. Yeah, it's the last clip. It's just going to go that way, so I'll just do another cross dissolve. Again, I don't do anything too fancy because I want it to look clean and I want it to look, everything's in motion. Everything is moving in the right direction. Everything makes sense. To me, that's most important than having it too fancy. Because there are a lot of interesting transitions you could use. I mean, really, there are. But, what makes sense to you might not make sense to me. It's just a matter of what you want to use. And that's pretty much all I wanted to show you today. Thank you. Bye.